How concerned should we be that this happens to be the exact part of the world where there's so much apparent Biden family corruption? Everyone's seen the videos. I fired the prosecutor. My son worked here. There are a lot of Joe Biden, Hunter Biden connections to this region of the world.
There certainly are. And the whole thing it stinks to high heaven. So for Hunter Biden, I have no interest in delving into his personal peccadillos, whatever they may be, unless they impact the security of the American people, which is my business. It's all of our business. And if he was engaged in what seems to be increasingly clear was a pay-to-play scheme using his father's high political office, and that heaven only knows what various bad actors across Ukraine and across China have on the Bidens. How many, are there tapes of these phone calls that we don't know about? Are there additional photographs, videos, bank records that could prove that there is a degree of compromise on the part of the Biden family writ large? Then that is deeply dangerous for the United States. That would explain why suddenly we're writing these blank undated checks, because, it's basically hush money. And so that's something I think all Americans, while they may not, want to be in a position of passing moral judgment on the president's son, I understand that. But this is an issue about our country's safety.
You co-authored something with Chip Roy, our friend Chip Roy, called The Deadly Costs of Biden's Israel Policy. What is the Joe Biden Israel policy? What are you talking about?
Well, what Biden did is reverse all of the Trump-era Israel policies, which really ran counter to what you might call conventional wisdom, that we couldn't move the embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem because the Arabs would attack Israel, and we couldn't do things like defund the Palestinians because the Arabs would attack Israel. And what we found is, rather than attacking Israel, we got to the first two substantive peace deals between Israel and Arab-majority countries, the so-called Abraham Accords in September of 2020, which was a historic achievement for which President Trump, quite frankly, deserved a Nobel Peace Prize. But it did turn Washington thinking on its head. The Biden administration came in and reversed those policies. They weren't able to move the embassy back because of legislation in Congress, but they certainly turned these funding spigots back on to the Palestinians. And the result of the now more than $1 billion that they poured into the Palestinian Authority and supporting groups like the United Nations over the last 2.5 years has resulted in the deadliest year for both Palestinians and Israelis due to terrorism in 20 years, in 2 decades. So you can draw a direct corollary here between these taxpayer dollars that are being poured into a Palestinian Authority that routinely engages in horribly violent anti-America, anti-Israel rhetoric, that pays the families of terrorists who attack Israelis and even Americans like Taylor Force. What if you give that entity more money, what you buy is more violence. And the president had the gall to suggest that it was the politics of Israel's currently duly elected government that he doesn't like that was provoking the violence. Well, I think his policies have provoked the violence.
You want to watch our special on George Washington? It's freaking awesome. Well, you can. All you have to do is become a First TV supporter. That gives you access to all of our specials on demand, and it's cake. All you have to go to is thefirsttv.com/support. Thefirsttv.com/support. Become a supporter. Enjoy learning about George Washington.